Welcome to Biggie Power, and today we're going to do some body work and wiring, I think. So we're going to get the boot on, try and get some A panels on, maybe wiring up some lights. That'd be nice. Whatever you see happens. We manipulated the boot a little bit to make it a better fit. It's not perfect, but this is a mini. The bottom edge is sort of the tightest spot, but I can't seem to raise the hinges anymore. And well, it's a mini, isn't it? And to be honest, if it fits and doesn't leak, I'm happy. So it was a bit twisted, untwisted it. I will change the number plate position slightly and how it's fixed. I hate screws through bodywork. Can do the same with the arches. Left light's temporary because there's a tank in the way, but I'm working out where to do the wiring soon for that. Realised I can't fit a bumper with the hinges. Didn't know that, but that seems to be the case, so that's good to know. And everything sort of fits. I'm going to get some new hinges, some chrome ones. This will clean up nicely, and it matches the keys. But basically, I want to put a plug on the end of there to go in there, or just on the body, just hit this side of the tank. So if you need to take the boot off, you don't have to bury your hand behind there, you can just unplug it. On this side, I really don't like hang down fog lights. I've seen some neat LED versions, but this is what I've come up with. So using some very, very narrow, short LED bulbs and a fitment that we've managed to get in there, which I can't get out one-handed. I don't think I can. There I can. Like that. It's one of these fitments. If you use a normal size bulb, the red bulb reflects, obviously, and this is reverse, and you don't want that. And that's how it works, really. So you've got reverse and fog, and that sits in there. And then when the fog light comes on, it comes on there through this clear lens. You've got a nice bright fog light. I might replicate this on the other side, and we have twin fogs. I think that's quite a neat solution for me. I'm quite happy with that. Need to get some new seals, but that's a bit, otherwise the light's kind of there. So what I'm going to do is make a little plug on either of these. I know you get these plugs, but you have to push the wires into it, and we'll put the plug and we'll fit it on a little clip down there, and then we can just run the wiring along, along the bottom edge here, probably along the boot seal. Maybe try and tuck it up behind there somehow, and that'll be nice and hidden along there, and do the same for that plug that side. So if you take the lights out, just one plug. Done. That's the idea. Let's get on with it. Welcome to more wiring. So we're going to change these rear light plugs, which you push in all the individual bits on, as far as I can see, to one of these sort of more modern plugs. And they are weather sealed, not needed necessarily, but they're just a little bit easier. And I've got more wires to add, so we're adding the fog light on this one, and I want to add an earth into the loom as well. Rather than earth to here and then earth to the body, I'll do one body loom, earth for the whole rear of the car in the boot behind the tank somewhere, and then earth it to all there. So we've added that earth, we cleaned up the terminal on there, and we've soldered that on. We've got our fog light in there, and we're going to wire this all into a nice little plug down here, and then the female accepting plug, I'll make a little tab on the back of the car in the boot to hold it, and you can just plug it in. You don't need to take these out. You take the lenses off to change the bulbs if anyone's interested, but just tidies it up really, rather than this sort of rattling around in the back. Don't like the idea of that. So that's where I'm at. Got my kit ready. Just gonna get on with it really. First gonna repair this wire, which someone's tried to repair before, and then we'll work out lengths and where we can put this plug. Now we need to make the recipient part. So I need the wires for that. I'm going to use the wiring diagrams, sort out which wires we're going to use,
see if we can find the replica colours and sort that out. And then we have our other connector. I've done wires with as close as colours as I can, made a note of those that aren't perfect, like I've got a red fog light, but actually the fog light on the car is yellow-blue. I've gone with yellow-silver because that's what I had as of length. And they just work together. Nice! And what will happen in the car is the car loom. So there's a little clip or little slide on the back. We'll make a little tab on the car just to hold that in place just there. That to plug into. Very nice. And then we'll loom tape this. That'll go across the car to the other side, where we'll terminate it with another plug, and this will daisy chain onto the rest of the loom. So this will go, the other light will go into this, and then it'll move on. That's the idea. So that's what we've just made, basically. Some smaller tabs for less wiring and the bigger tabs for more wiring. The next thing we need to do is design a tab that the plugs can click onto, the new plugs that I'm using. So I'll get one of those out and I'll show you what we're going to try and do. So here's our plug, and then we've got a little slider on the back. So I'm hoping we can make a little tab like this that can push onto, but it might need to be a little bit stronger than that. So I might need to have sort of legs either side that we weld in, so that can not go anywhere and not shake and rattle. So I'll sketch up a little design, maybe with a piece of paper first, and then put it onto metal and see if it works, because that'd be pretty cool. And I need to use a little piece of metal and stick a little 6mm bolt on it for an earth point in the boot as well. So let's get on with that. So this is Type A prototype. That's what we've come up with. And then that little piece on the back, just, it's a nice tight fit on there. And then those two tabs get welded on. Perfect. So we just need to make a bunch more of them. So we'll do that now. Result of an hour's work. Some little bits of metal with holes in, some smaller bits of metal with holes in. So these are cable managing tabs, like the ones perhaps showed you earlier. So like these little things here. And then we have these little tabs we've made which will hold these plugs. Clunk, like all that. So we need a few for the boot, we need one per side, one for the fuel, one for the boot, so 4 for the actual boot as in the boot area, so there's a light, a boot light, and then the fuel plug as well. So that will be that, and then these will play their part on the front end holding some plugs in a few different places, as will the tabs. Obviously we're going to use a few of these tabs in the back already. So what we're going to do now, oh yeah, and an earth point, so just a piece of plate with an M6 bolt welded to it, and we're going to weld that in the left hand rear corner as an earth point for the rear, for the boot. So next job is get the weld around there, prep the area. We're going to fit one of these tabs for the plug that is ready, put that in, and put these in ready. We're not going to put these in yet until we've got the plugs in exactly positions we want. So I'll show you that when I've done that in a second. Easy to get to. That is so awkward to get around there. But there's our tab on there for the plug, just letting it cool and dry. And then there's a tab for wirings, tab for wiring, and our earth point, which we'll clean up the threads, obviously, with a copper slip on there. And then we've got a tab here already. This is the original tab for wiring. We'll have probably a plug here, which this will plug into, and it'll go off in that direction. And then we'll have a plug up there somewhere for the fuel pump as well, so we can disconnect that quite easily. And it'll head in that direction. So that's good. That'll go onto there, and that'll go along trace along there. And then this, oh yeah, we're gonna have another little plug here because I want to connect the boot on its own little plug, so we'll have a little plug there too. So there's a couple of hours of work, which was so boring I didn't show you. We've obviously finished up the wiring in this corner here. Put a plug here. This is for the boot wirings, just for the lights. That's all that is. But it's nice, easy. Just unplug it and you can take the boot off. I don't have to faff with all the wiring in here. And then a nice plug at the back there. Now that helps join up the wiring from the other side. That helps join up the wiring coming in from above, and obviously this light in the corner as well. I'll do some final taping once we've had it all painted, etc. And then we've got our earth point at the back there welded in, so that's nice. A little bit of tidying left to do on the wiring, but once it's painted we'll then do the final wrap on the wiring of the rear end. I want another tab, put it down here. I'm going to do that in a second once I put the tank back in. The tank wiring will sort in a moment once we're happy. So we're good here. Basically the boot wiring, the rear end wiring is all in place, ready to go. That included the heating rear screen, tank wiring, lights, fog light, reverse. All good.